Hey guys, today I am walking you through one of the most dangerous and satisfying opening traps in all of chess, the fishing pole trap. Now, I want to be upfront with you. This is a theoretical model line, not a competitive game between two titled players. But every single idea here is completely real, and this is something you can absolutely use in your own games starting today. This trap happens inside the Ruy Lopez Exchange Variation, and it leads to a forced checkmate in just 10 moves. Let's go through every single move together. So, from an opening theory perspective, we are in the Ruy Lopez, one of the oldest and most deeply analyzed openings in chess history. White opens with the pawn to e4. Black mirrors with the pawn to e5. The knight comes to f3, and the knight comes to c6. White develops the bishop all the way to b5. That is the Ruy Lopez starting position. Black plays the pawn to a6, challenging the bishop immediately. Now here is where we reach the exchange variation. White captures on c6, taking the knight with the bishop. Black recaptures with the d-pawn, and suddenly black has doubled c-pawns on c6 and c7. Why would black accept doubled pawns? Because in exchange, black gets an open d-file, rapid development, and active piece play. The bishops are completely unlocked. It is a very practical and fighting choice. White castles kingside, completely standard, putting the king to safety. And now black plays the bishop to g4. This is an aggressive developing move. The bishop immediately pins White's f3 knight to the queen. White cannot simply move the knight without losing the queen. So the pin is real, the pressure is real, and now White has to make a decision. White plays h3. This is a very natural-looking move. White wants to kick the bishop off the g4 square, relieve the pin, and free the knight. Completely logical, completely standard. But this move also has a downside that is easy to miss. The h-pawn has just moved. The h3 square is now occupied, and White's castled king on g1 is now in danger. The h-file is now one pawn push away from being cracked open, and black knows exactly how to exploit this. The pawn advances to h5. This is the fishing pole trap. The bishop on g4 is still sitting there, apparently hanging, apparently free to take. White's h3 pawn is attacking it. The bishop has not retreated. Instead, black is saying, "I dare you to take it." Because if White captures on g4, the h-file opens. And black's rook on h8 suddenly has a direct highway aimed at White's castled king on g1. The bishop is the bait. The h5 pawn is the hook. This is why the trap has its name. You cast the line and you wait. White captures. The pawn takes on g4, and immediately black recaptures with the pawn, h takes g4. Now look at the board. The h-file is completely open. Black's rook on h8 is staring directly down toward h1. White's king is sitting on g1 with almost nothing protecting it from the h-file. White's f3 knight, the one that was pinned, is now under even more pressure because the g4 pawn is attacking it directly. This is already a very uncomfortable position for White. Now, White is not immediately lost here. Engines point to a move like the rook lifting to e1 as the best practical defense, creating an escape route for the king toward f1. It is still very difficult, but White could survive with precise play. But instead, White plays the knight to e5, and this is the losing move. White has just moved the only piece that was covering the h-file area. The knight was on f3. It was a key defender of the king side. And now it has leapt forward to e5, grabbing material, eyeing the f7 pawn, and threatening to fork things. All of which looks very aggressive and natural. But in doing so, White has completely abandoned the defense of the h-file. There is no coming back from this. Black's queen swings all the way to h4. Just think about this position for a moment. The h-file is open. Black's rook is on h8. Black's queen is now on h4, staring at h1. The threat is absolutely clear. The queen is going to h1 for checkmate. Something is coming down that h-file, and White has to stop it right now. White tries the pawn to f3. This is the only idea. White is trying to create an escape square for the king. If the king can slip out to f2, maybe White survives. But then, Black plays the pawn to g3, and just like that, the door is shut. The pawn on g3 is now sitting directly in front of the f2 square. White's king cannot go to f2 anymore. The escape route is permanently sealed. White plays the rook to e1, a desperate attempt to give the king some room. And then, the queen slides to h1. Checkmate. Look at the final position. White's king is on g1. It cannot go to f2 because the pawn on g3 controls that square permanently. It cannot go to h1 or h2 because black's queen dominates the entire h-file. The king has absolutely nowhere to go. It is pure checkmate. 10 moves. The game is over. Now let's talk about where white could have done better, because understanding the defense is just as important as understanding the attack. The first moment white went wrong was move 7, capturing the bishop with h takes g4. This wasn't forced. White could have played the pawn to d3 instead, developing normally, keeping the position solid and ignoring the provocation entirely. The bishop on g4 has no immediate threat. Black would have to retreat it or find another plan. The position stays balanced. But even after taking the bishop, white was not immediately lost. The critical defensive move was on move 8. Instead of the knight to e5, white needed the rook to e1. This creates a potential escape route for the king to f1. The position is still very dangerous for white, but there is no forced mate. Black's attack would require more work to convert. What makes the fishing pole trap so effective in practical play is this: the losing moves feel natural. Moving the knight to e5 attacks multiple pawns and looks strong. It requires accurate calculation to see that you are actually walking into a forced checkmate. This is exactly the kind of trap that wins games at every level, from beginners all the way up to experienced club players. The finish here is absolutely clean. There are no loose ends, no defensive tricks, and no stalemate traps to worry about. Once the pawn lands on g3 on move 9, the checkmate is completely forced. White's king is sealed in the corner. The queen on h4 controls the entire h-file and the f2 square simultaneously. The rook on h8 is hovering, ready to join. White plays the rook to e1 and the queen delivers checkmate on h1. A perfect miniature. A perfect tactical demonstration. Black wins by checkmate in 10 moves. So what do we take away from this game? First, king safety is everything. The moment you weaken the pawn structure in front of your castled king, you have to be absolutely certain there is no way your opponent can exploit it. h3 looks safe, but combined with an open h-file, it becomes a death sentence. Second, never grab material without first asking, what does my opponent get in return? White captured the bishop and got a piece. Black got an open h-file and a direct attack on a castled king. That is never a fair trade. Third, know your traps. The fishing pole is one of the most famous weapons in the Ruy Lopez Exchange Variation. If you play the Ruy Lopez with white, you need to know this trap exists so you never fall into it. And if you play black, this is an incredible weapon to have in your arsenal. Learn the pattern, trust the bishop sacrifice, push the h-pawn, and when your opponent takes the bait, finish them off in style. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Have you ever seen the fishing pole trap in your own games? I'll see you in the next one.